On this video, I'm going to be going over the ins and outs of everything you need to know when it comes to bidding commercial jobs. So first things first, and the most important topic I'm going to go over to start this video off with is how to determine how long a commercial job is going to take you. And the easiest way to do this, and when I say easy, this is going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of time for you to get this completed, but it is absolutely crucial so you can make sure that you bid these commercial jobs and be profitable. You don't want to underbid these jobs and be out all kinds of money and stuck in a contract that you absolutely hate being in. So doing this work up front and ahead of time before you start pursuing commercial work, commercial contracts, is going to save you a lot of headache, and it's also going to put you in a position to where you can scale your business out, have other people bid jobs for you, and know that when those bids are sent out that they are profitable. So what I'm going to be going over is how to develop production rates. So this is going to be the sole foundation if you want to make a big business. You have to have production rates in place, and what those are is how much time it takes you to complete a specific task. In the world of commercial lawn care and lawn maintenance, this is going to be mowing, weed eating, edging, blowing, mulch installations, annual flower swap outs. If you're up north, this is going to be snow plowing and salting and leaf cleanups. You have to know how long it takes you to complete all of these tasks so you can determine how much you need to charge to get these jobs done. What I did when I first started creating production rates, when I was in a position of like, how do I get this thing to work without me? How do I build a business that doesn't require me to do everything, where I can send somebody out and they can go and give bids consistently and those bids be profitable at our sent out? And it comes down to production rates. And the way you determine this is you have to start to gather data and start recording the times it takes you to complete these tasks. For instance, when it comes to mowing, you need to know how many square feet per minute, how many square feet per hour the mowers you use can mow. So how much turf, how much ground can you cover per hour, per minute, per 30 minutes. So when you come up to this commercial property and they have 60 acres that needs to be mowed, you know with your mowers that you can get 2 acres per hour done, 3 acres, maybe 1 acre, depending on the equipment you use. Whatever equipment you're using, that's what you want to record. That's what you want to base your production rates off, not off of equipment you don't have, unless you are planning to buy equipment later on and you want to know if this equipment's going to be profitable for you, if it's going to increase your production. And the way to directly scale that, to directly measure that, is to have production rates in place where you know you can cut 700 square feet per minute, 1,500 square feet per minute, whatever the number is. This is what's going to get you started. And the way you do that is you're in all the properties and customers that you currently work with. You're going to go through and you're going to measure those properties to determine how many square feet of turf they have. You're going to incorporate and be aware of the properties that have slopes, a lot of trees, a lot of obstacles. The point that you want to do is create an average that will account for everything across the board. Now, when you do this, you're going to take the measurements of your properties you're currently working on, and then you are going to start timing yourself on how long it takes to complete those services at the property. And this is going to be the same thing for every single service that you offer. So if you're doing mulch installations, you have to know how long it takes you to install 1 yard of mulch. If you're doing leaf cleanup, you have to know how long it takes you to fill your trailer up, or if you do it in time brackets where you bill someone for 2, 4, 6, and 8 hours. But there are all production rates built in behind it. If you're doing sod installs, you have to know how long it takes you to lay a pallet of sod. Production rates are what is going to allow your business to scale and is going to create budgeted hours for every job that you send out. So when you send an employee out to go and do a job for you, they know how much time they have to complete that task, and it's based off of the data, the research, and all the recording you did to create those budgeted hours and production rates. So first off, get your production rates, so that way when you come up to these commercial properties, you can measure, you can determine how many budgeted hours you need in order to complete this job, and then you can make what you need to make by attaching your hourly rate to those production rates. So if you are mowing an acre per hour, how much are you charging per hour? Add that on there so you know how much every single acre you're going to make, and know that you're going to make X amount of profit on every acre that you are mowing. Production rates, that's what's going to put you in the position to not only scale your business, but build commercial routes that are going to be profitable for you. The second thing you need to make sure you have lined up and in place is the proper insurance and coverages. So you're going to have workers' comp, limited liability, and you're also going to need commercial vehicle insurance. I didn't need commercial vehicle insurance until I got my first real big commercial property, and they hit me on a form of, please submit your commercial truck insurance to us. They required you to have commercial vehicle insurance. If you don't have it, this is something you are going to have to transition your current insurance to commercial insurance plan. So make sure you have workers' comp, limited liability, and the commercial truck insurance. If there's anything else that they require, it might be a business tax ID, which is different from your EIN. Go over the forms of what they are going to be asking you to submit and make sure you have all that stuff lined up. Another thing you have to do when it comes to commercial properties, if you are a smaller company like myself and you only have a small team of guys to work with, you can't provide all the services that they want for you. And what I mean by that is a lot of these commercial contracts want fertilization. They want irrigation inspections and repairs done every single month. And if that's not something you can do, you have to work with 2 other companies who can do that for you. So you sub them out. So all 3 of you are working together to take care of this commercial property. Now, ahead of time, you need to start looking in your local market. Find guys who are reliable, guys who are good at communicating, guys who are going to be able to count on to make sure that your property is taken care of, because at the end of the day, you are going to be the main contract holder, and these guys are going to work underneath you as subcontractors. So you want to make sure these 2 guys that you have with you are good service providers, because they will be a direct reflection of your performance on that property. So make sure that your fertilization and treatment guy is a solid guy. They're going to be doing what they need to be doing every single month, giving you reports, letting you know what was put out, letting you know if there's any issues on that property that need to be treated, that need to be taken care of. And the same thing with the irrigation guy. You want to make sure that they are showing up every single month to perform their irrigation inspections, that they're giving you a report, that all the repairs that they had to do are itemized, so you can communicate this with whoever the property manager is that you're working with on that commercial job. So make sure you have a good network with good contractors that you can rely on and trust to take care of these larger commercial jobs. It's a big factor, and it's one thing that really stops a lot of guys from being able to enter in commercial work, is because they don't offer all the services that they need. But there's a way to do it. Sub it out, make good connections, and look for good local service providers in your area. The next thing, in the bidding process, when you go to submit a bid, they're going to want all your documents before that I mentioned. They're going to want your whole scope of work, the contract, everything that's included. So when they'll send you an email with the scope of work, which will include all the terms, everything that's included on that contract for the next year, the number of service visits, and you want to make sure you can replicate that when you go to turn in your bid with the scope of work of your own that highlights and includes everything that was included in the original scope of work. But let's go to the point. Let's say you are in the top 3 bids. You are one of the top 3 service providers that they are considering hiring on and giving this new contract to. When you get to that point, you have to be prepared that you are going to have to give a presentation. That you are going to have to go into a room filled with all the board members who represent that community, all the decision makers of that community. It is super nerve-wracking to go in there, especially if it's your first time. When you're new to this commercial industry, it is super nerve-wracking to go in there and present everything that you have. You're going to be bombarded with questions. They're going to know like why they should hire you, if they can trust you, and how you're going to be the best fit service provider for them. So you are selling yourself. And what I would do in these situations is that before you even get to that board meeting, when you do that initial walkthrough or the ride around with the property manager, you figure out every single one of their pain points. Why are they unhappy with their current service provider? What are they not doing that I can do? So I know when I come to the board, I can give them this problem that I'm solving for them. And that's going to help build value with our proposal and why they should hire us. Be prepared to do a presentation in front of a board. It's just something you're going to have to do. You're going to have to get over it. If you don't like being in that situation, but you want those contracts, you just got to deal with it. It's part of the process. And then after you do get on board with that contract, so let's say you do win it, they accept it, they reward you the contract, I would highly recommend do this, but send them service reports. So with these big commercial contracts, and you're working with areas that cover a lot of ground, and there's a big property, there's a lot of details of, what needs to be covered, what needs to be maintained. Make sure that you come up with a form that you can fill out after each service to let them know what has been completed, what issues you see that need attention, and if there's anything that could potentially need improvement that could generate more income out of this contract for you. So this is what we call property improvements or enhancements. And this is how you're going to take that original contract and make it even bigger by selling them landscaping work or tearing out this section of the property, putting in beautiful landscaping and plants, make that a whole separate job. Maybe they have an area that has a bunch of dead grass and you can go in there and replace that. And what this does is it benefits both sides. Yes, you get more money, but they are getting a better property out of it. This is going to give you more value in their eyes because now you are enhancing their investment and their property that they take care of and, in most cases, take a lot of pride in. I hope some of these tips help you guys. If you have any questions, especially when it comes to setting up the production rates, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of work, but I promise you it will be worth it. That is the foundation to be able to scale a multi-million-dollar company, is having production rates, having budgeted hours, and having that baseline. That is the foundation. And if you think of a foundation of the house, if that foundation is weak, when you build that building up, it is going to collapse. That foundation will crack, it'll shift, and then all kinds of other repairs need to be made up top when really the root of the problem is at the very bottom. So make sure that you make a good foundation, that you have good production rates, that you know what your budgeted hours are for every single job that you go out. Thanks for watching, guys. Shane here, aka the Electric Lawn Care Guy. Make sure you like, subscribe to this page, and I'll be helping you guys out with more tips like this.